and welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is Monday, October 22nd, and this is episode 35. I say that and now I'm like, what's what my letters say on the paper? I believe so. But they do. I'm going to show you. I'm doing fine. I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Amy Beth, also known as Fat Squirrel. You can find me as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and Plurk. You can also find our group on Ravelry. That Squirrel Speaks. Get with the program, people. Join us there for shenanigans of the internet types. So yeah, that's it. Welcome to new viewers. We got sucked into the vortex of the new video podcast to you. Hi, everybody else. It's nice to see you again. I just want to say a quick thank yous. Actually, there I won't say thank yous. Just lock it in. Hold on. I want to say thank yous to everybody put in their 2 cents on the Ravelry board. Thanks, people. So I put up a thread that said your 2 cents or something like that. Some hacky saying that I didn't feel the need to reinvent. Sorry. And so some of you put on suggestions and whatnot for the show. So that is much appreciated. I would also like to say a quick thank you to Tracy and Robin. They are super clever, kind, superhuman, wonderful people, and they gave the dollars to the show. Yay! If you would like to give some dollars to the show, there's a donate button. Darn it! There. Oh, for the love of Pete, I'm going to be on a science show about... Why is it... What? It's over there. Why can I... My brain can't make that happen. What is that? Do I have like some weird visual dyslexia? That I can't... How do I point over? One of my hands should be able to point that direction without twisting my arm. It's over there. Oh my gosh. It's right there though. So yay them. I would also like to say thank you to Sandy and and Mary. I met them at Southern Indiana Fire Arts Festival in Corydon, Kentucky. No, it's Indiana, but it might as well be Kentucky. It's on the river. If you don't know your geography, Indiana's bottom meets up with Kentucky's western side along the Ohio River, and Corydon is down there, just west of Louisville. In case you don't know, that is Louisville, not Louisville. In fact, if you're from Kentucky, it's Louisville. Whatever. My people are from Kentucky. I could say Louisville. Anyway, so I met them and Sandy and Mary. And then Mary also has a podcast, and her podcast is called Exchange Student in Fiberland. And she also has a Etsy shop called Spartacus, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'll put a link. Dyes. And she does hand-dyed yarns and project bags. Oh my gosh, talented people everywhere. How else was that? Sandy, who instigated and organized the saying hello-ness of all of us. Yay, her. She also brought me presents. Sandy's fancy. She's from Wisconsin, but she lives in Sweden. She let me touch her. She's very fancy. But it was so exciting. So she brought me... Oh, like right now. You can't have any because it's from Sweden. Unless you're from Sweden, then contact Sandy. Or contact me, and I'll forward you on. She got me real Swedish from Swedish sheep. It smells very internationally sheep-like. Cotton. Look at it, it's like a giant bat of like. Oh, I'm so excited. Look at it's tons. That's in half even. There's more. Look, it's gonna take up the entire screen. Are you ready? Wait, there's even more. You could like use this as the batting of a baby quilt. That's how much there is. It's insane. Oh my gosh. It just keeps getting bigger and crazier. It's eating me alive. Someone call. Oh no, wait, I'm happy. I'll just die happy. So yay her! I'm so excited. I haven't even checked out the new Knit Girls Expand Your Horizons. Maybe Colin is on there. I maybe checked it out. Did you check it out? Oh my gosh, did you go to Rhinebeck? If you did, I'm jealous of you. This much. This much. But I had a fabulous time in southern Indiana at not Rhinebeck. This festival is this big. I would say that there were, I'm Gotlandy. I would say that there were no more than 40 vendors. I'll be honest with you. The night before, I was set to go. Originally, my fibery friend and I were going to go with our children and like do it up. And then the day before, the children decided that they did not want to be in the car that long to go look at wool. You can't blame them. But my partner had to work the next day, the day of the fiber festival, so he could not stay at home with my munchkin. So my munchkin went to her partner's house, and then they all ruckused it up for the day while we went. Oh my God. I'm going to spin this all for myself. While we went to the fiber festival. So we were planning on having like a whole car of people when we went down there, but that didn't happen. Why am I telling this story? Oh, the point of the story is there really is no point. I'm just talking. But so the night before we were supposed to go, I had this like, okay, so I'll be honest with you. All week, I've been having total hyperventilation face, like crazy style all week. The holidays are coming. I'm getting really nervous. And so I've been like all tweaking out about all the things I need to make for everybody because I'm poor. And I need to use up the stash that I have instead of spending extra money on Christmas presents. And also I love my friends. I mean, I would make them stuff anyway, even if I had $1 billion. They would get really nice stuff if I had $1 billion. Well, maybe I wouldn't I would still make them stuff, but I would buy them something fancy too, because quite frankly, they would probably like that more. But anyway, I would still make them something because I enjoy that, but maybe an ornament. Oh my gosh, did you see those little hat ornaments that, I'm sorry. The Knitspin Farm Joanna Spring showed on her podcast? You need to go watch it because she showed, I can't remember because it's even like a famous thing from a sci-fi thing, but it's a sci-fi thing that I don't watch because it's from a while ago when I didn't watch sci-fi. And anyway, instead of like the miniature socks or the miniature mittens or the miniature sweaters, it's miniature hats that are fun and they're made of worsted. I'll try to remember to put the pattern link on here. You just go watch Joanna Spring show. Psh. Oh my gosh. This could be the episode in which I find fiber all over my person. Oh, I'm so sad. So anyway, back to the final story, which really had no point that was worth anything, but I'm still straying from it. So the night before, I was really like, oh, I can't go. I can't justify the gas money to drive what is essentially, if I take my kid to my friend's house and then we drive it, which is essentially a 6-hour trip. And gas is a little bit less. It's $3.29. I found it for $3.29 a gallon, which is a little bit less than it has been. But I still was like, why can't I justify that expenditure only to go spend more money? Okay. But I'm glad I did. My husband was like, well, he looked at me like I'm crazy because that's a standard expression. But then he was like, honey, you should just really go with your friends and meet some other friends and just chill out. He knows me pretty well. Dang it. Anyway, so I did totally was like, I'm not going. And then we went and I had a lovely time. And we talked about ridiculous things on the drive down there. I should just make a podcast of all of, well, I shouldn't. This was my friend's idea, not mine. Hi, pretending it's mine. But we should just totally make a podcast of all of our times in the car together because we talk about the most ridiculous things ever. I can't even tell you because this is PG and it was very not PG conversation. Not that it was like, you know, but it was kind of raunchy. I can't think of the word. Anyway, it was raunchy. It was stand-up comedy-y. That's what it was. Anywho, so I had so much fun and I have awesome stuff and I'll just go and tell you now because I already talked about it and that would be silly to stop and then talk about it then and then. Okay, so as I said, this is a very small fiber event. I probably will not go again, but next year I'll probably go. Because I'm a crackhead. But no, I probably won't go again because while it was very cute, it was this big and it was a journey, which was entertaining. And oh, we stopped at a fancy local restaurant. A local restaurant. well, I guess it's considered local. Whatever. A non-chain restaurant in this like tiny little podunk town, by the way. And they had all local food and bison sausage. It was totally tasty. I felt so fancy. We were so excited because we were eating out as adults without children. I was like, look, I'm going to call you by your name and nobody's going to say the word mom. How exciting. We had like a whole day of not mumminess. You need that sometimes. I love my child, don't get me wrong. But boy, you need to be a person. You know, like you as a person needs to exist sometimes. Because as we all know, if you are a mother or a partner or anything like that hat always comes first. And then like eventually sometimes you get down to your regular head and not the hat. And boy, you need to be down there sometimes because you need to be a person. Anyway, oh, sorry for people who were like, could you maybe talk not so crazy loud and so crazy whispery? I really have tried. It's not going to happen. Eventually, one day, when I am wealthy and fancy-pantsy, there is allegedly a software that can somehow make the quiet louder and the louder quieter. Not anytime soon, though. So I'm sorry. It's really not like I'm like, whatever about your comment. It's not really how I feel at all. It's just that I have had that comment before, and I have really tried not to go, I can't do it. Sorry. Anywho, oh, so she stuff. I did not go too crazy. Okay, I went a little crazy, but not real crazy. But the first thing I'll show you is so crazy. What is this? And I there's two. Oh my gosh. Do you see this? This one got me. I could have maybe not had this one, but this one, green gets me every time. I'm such a sucker. It's ridiculous. This is rug yarn. And okay, so you know how I told you, I don't know why I ever thought I should have segments on the show. My brain doesn't work that way. You know how I told you a few minutes ago that I was freaking out about Christmas and all of the holiday knitting? And by the way, could everybody in my life be having a baby? I have like 5 babies all of a sudden between December 30th and like April 1st or something like that. 5 babies. And they're not like friends of friends. No, they're like my bestie best from high school. And her little brother is, and then like my cousins. And I have a very small family. So even though I'm not, like, we don't see them, they live out west, like, you know, they're my cousins. Anyway, and one of them, who's having twins, totally was told she could never have babies. Because she had rheumatoid arthritis. Well, she still has it. But she had it through her entire childhood. And she was on methotrexate, which is like a chemotherapy drug. And they told her that she could never have babies. And now she's pregnant. She's super pregnant. How cute is that? So she's probably so excited. I mean, she's peeing herself because she has twins living inside her body. But also because she's so excited. So I got to be part of that. Anyway. So, I'll show you this. Because why not? Because this is a completely nonlinear show, people. If you need to study any kind of psychological, like how women's brains work in a nonlinear fashion, I'm your person. Just watch the show. I can't be held down to a line. So this, I took my daughter to Monkey Joe's, which is, I could hold it right side up. That might be helpful for you. Not that you need to know. But I took my daughter to Monkey Joe's the other day because my daughter's been on fall break for 2 weeks. She went back to school today. I can't lie. I'm totally excited. At one point during the week, I looked at my husband and I was like, how did I do this and not stab somebody? And he's like, I don't know. I'm a saint. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so I took my child to Monkey Joe's because I needed like to have an hour and a half where she was not talking at my face. Love her. But I needed that hour and a half. So Monkey Joe's, I don't know if you have those. Basically, it's just like a big place that has lots of inflatable things. The kids bounce around and they use up all the energy in their fusion reactor. And that's good. And I love it because you don't have to pay for the adults. You only have to pay for the kids who play. Yay. It's not like the zoo. You're going to pay for yourself to go. The Children's Museum. Come on! I should not have to pay an $18 admission fee. And it really is like that much. I could be lying. But I think it's like $16. Not even, it's ridiculous. For me to go. I'll pay that for her to go. It's a little expensive. But for me to go, I don't want to be there. She should give me money. Anyway. This is really ranty. I'm serious. I'm not sorry. Whatever. It's ranty. So when I was at Monkey Joe's, I took that few moments to compose my holiday knitting list. And I forgot to even write down my bus driver, my daughter's bus driver, and her 2 teachers. Oh my God. That's hyperventilating. But what the hyperventilation led to was me being like, okay, I have to make 8 pairs of slippers between now and Christmas. Welcome to the Crazy Cow! Because I know that I don't have to knit everybody presents, but I have all that yarn that's like, because you can use scraps for those. Right on, right on. Like I have that yarn living in my life that I could give up and it would be okay because I have like bits that I could never make anything of meaningly giantness with. So slippers are perfect, and then you can felt them and they fit everybody, and everybody likes slippers, right? 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 So that was my thought. Anyway, so that led to justification for buying these 2 yarns. Because even though, as I just said, I have enough yarn to make everybody's slippers, clearly I needed to buy more. But guess what? This is what, okay, A, colors, gorgeous. B, it's made of Lincoln long wool. How exciting. C, $7.50 each. 250 yards. Or 240 yards. I might be a big fat liar. I'm getting real with it, people. Bulky rug yarn, 250 yards. $7.50. This is Blue Acorn Woolens. I did not buy them from that. Maybe? No, I did. It was like a woman. But I don't think that's her company. I think she just is a vendor for this company. But anyway, and I don't have her information because I'm a jerk. But, oh my gosh. So, after I brought it home, I realized, oh, whatever. I should really have bought some of the lighter weight because my husband, I made him those knucks. You know, it's like gloves, but without the fingers and without the thumb. But they're not just mitts. They have individual fingers. Well, I made him some of those for work, and he has shredded them because I didn't make them with the bright yarn. And this would have been perfect because he doesn't care if it's scratchy. It's on his, like, worky hands. So I wish I would have bought some of the lighter weight. Dang it. But anyway, maybe I'll spin some. Why would I do that? They're just going to get shredded in like 3 months. Because I'm crazy, that's why. But anyway, oh my gosh, I love it. So that was the first purchase. Then, sorry, my phone's ringing. And you're going to hear my answering machine pick up. It's going to be awkward. But I'm just going to talk over it like it's not happening. So then there was the cutest man. It's even my husband. I hope he doesn't say anything dirty. He won't. Okay, so then there was like, okay, so there was lots of folks. But then there were some folks that I could not resist the urge to buy from. Because there was this cute old man. Cute! Who even had like not like a full-on walker, but like a walker-ish thing. I mean, he didn't have it all the time, but he had it like to the side, you know. And so we had to go look because he had a bunch of Shetland, and it looked like this. So we had to go look at it because look at that, 8 ounces for $12. Gotta look at that. But then he was so stinking cute. He had like that kind of stuttery, like it's like that the older fellows. I never hear women get that. Why is that? It's always the fellows. But you know, they kind of like the beginning of the word kind of does something weird. And he was telling us all about sheep and like how he's a shearer, and these are all their sheep except for a few, because sometimes when he goes to shear other people's sheep, if the fleeces are just wonderful, he has to take them too. And so then my crazy wool friend and I, who is as crazy as I am, but in different flavors, a while ago we hatched a scheme. She hatched a scheme, and I rode the coattails thereof, that we should become sheep shearers. I don't know if I've told this story. I'm sorry if I have. But some of you already know. I'll just pretend it's for you. Really, it's just for me. But some of them, so we pretended that we were going to learn how to shear sheep. And then we would only have to work like 30 weeks out of the year, and we wear Carhartt overalls all the time and have all the wool. We still might do it. It's terribly physically demanding labor. It kills your back. I'm like, whatever, I can have wool all the time and wear Carhartts. How cute would I be? Anyway, so I bought some stuff from him because he was so cute and it was nice. So I bought this, but I bought this times 4. I may have bought 2 pounds, thinking that as soon as Christmas was over, I was going to spin a sweater. Crazy. We were like, I was like, really, how much crack do you have to smoke to buy 2 pounds of roving? Like, what? I smoke so much. Not really, kids. Like that. Like I have to tell you. If I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I was going to make some comment about smokers not being as round and fluffy as I am, but that might actually end up being an endorsement of crack cocaine. I'm not sure. So I won't do it. But nonetheless, I say that as a not real thing. Anyway, so I got 4 of these. And then he had Dorset. Now, I am not sure what this Dorset is. I don't know if it's pulled Dorset or horned Dorset or Dorset down or Dorsety Flugelfeigel. I don't know. I'm just risking it. But I really wanted some Dorset down. So I was like, 8 ounces for $11. Crapshoot. And I'm excited about it. I really want to spend some more. And again, it might even be on the list. I really want to spend some more down wools because I want to learn to make socks. Oh, exciting. So anyway, it's got some vegetability in it, but that doesn't bother me too much. Okay. I roll like that. It's all natural. Look at that. It's from the sheep. It's real. Oh, did you know this? I did not know this until I read it on Beaverside Dry Goods website. But a lot of places to get rid of that extra vegetable matter that's like that much, they will actually, what do they say? Uninformed. They set the wool on fire. That's not really what they do. But, you know, wool is flame resistant and whatever. So they do something like where they flash burn it or something so it burns up the vegetable matter. And it can make the fiber crunchier. I'd rather have less crunchy fiber with a little bit of stuff in it. You don't want like full-on trees in there. Let's not be crazy. So I can deal with a little bit. It's just sheepy. So anyway. Knitting! I had a featured pattern that Stephanie donated because she's such a cute face. And I really think this pattern is awesome. It's called Sails. And it is by Danielle Cloyd Landers. How cool is that? I was not going to mention it because I'm running over, but then I started to mention it. Now I can't stop. But isn't that awesome? I think I can show you this much without getting in trouble. Because I don't think you could ever figure out how to make this from the schematic. Unless you're a genius face. And then, whatever. You're allowed. Link. Oh, what is that? Super excited. Anyway. Okay, so now actually talking about knitting. Okay, I finished my Dunkerton Sweet Socks. Shut up, I did. I totally did. There's a left and a right, so I gotta get it right. Afterthought Healy style. That's not how the pattern is written, but I like it, so there. Oh, and then also, if you ever wank out your... I'm not used to knitting afterthought heels from the cuff down. And really, I even measured against another sock. But I think because this pattern is so stringy, that's stretchy and springy, people. Stringy. TM. Because of that, I didn't quite get the... Anyway, the footbed was too long. So when I took out the waist thread and picked up the stitches in the opposite order of what I just said, and then I tried it on, the heel needed to be super shallow. So I just decreased every round instead of every other round, and they still fit lovely. More than I'm in genius face. So this is the Dunkerton Suite, and of course it's part of the Cloudy Apples ebook. And it's by Jen Arnold Cullerford. My own yarn. That I dyed. Of course it's my own yarn. How silly would that be? I'm not even going to show you that. That's that liquid amber thing. That lacy cow. That might go on hold until the end of the year. Because, hello. So much to knit. Okay. So the other thing I'm knitting. Oh, I'll show you this. Because you've seen this before. Okay, Mel from Sock the Boat. I finished a sock. I didn't bring over the book to tell you what pattern is. I don't have it written down, and I can go over town. But it's by Cat Bordy, and it's in the show notes if you're really curious. It's fun. How fun is that? Crazy construction style. This is officially the craziest sock I've ever knit. I know people are always like, it's not knitted, it's knit. Don't judge. Grammar faces. And then I have this much, 2 inches of the second one. I love the cows being broken up by week. I gotta say it. I think somebody else has said it before, but I'll say it again. It's so fun because then you just knit what you're supposed to knit for that week. And I'm sorry, if you don't have enough time, I completely understand that too. But for me, it works. Because then I just knit what I have to knit for that week, and then I can put it aside. And like I don't have to feel guilty that I'm not working on it. It's awesome. Anyway, I like it. I'm pro that. So that's that. It's from New Pathways for Sock Knitters, the pattern is. It's like St. Bartholomew's sock or something, but I could be lying. Canoe stuff. Okay, so long time ago, if you ever watched the show at the beginning, I totally made some socks that are over there, and I can't show you. But I have been putting off writing the pattern for them. This is a truth about me, which I will now admit. I get really overwhelmed by details. Like overwhelmed to the point of being unable to act. So like I wasn't afraid about writing the pattern. That's not what scared me, but the making the pattern into like a document which looked attractive and professional freaks me out so much that I have put off writing it until now. How crazy is that? I'm a bad person. I need to work on that. But I am writing the pattern. I still have not started messing with the processing and the making it look nice, which makes me so nervous. But at least I'm writing the pattern. 6 months later. But so here's the first one. These will be for somebody for their birthday. And I have 2 birthdays too. 3! My own kid's birthday. Oh my gosh, freaking out. Anyway. So there it is so far, and this is some lovely yarn. This is Dream and Color, a sock yarn, and it was donated by this RN Knits. Thank you. I love this color. And so there it is. Yay. And see, I promise I'm writing it up. Look at that. I had to chart that bad boy. Creative style. And this will be free. And there's this stuff. Look at that, the written out one. Look at that. Somehow the stitch pattern does not exist in chart form that I could find. And I now kind of know why. It looks terribly complicated, but I promise you it is not. I promise. Not that complicated. It just looks messy, but it's really not. It's quite easy. Anyway, so there's that. And of course I'm knitting those in size zeros. I always knit socks on size 0. That's also what size I'm knitting those Sock the Boat socks on. Ta-da! Okay, next thing. Moody Kerchief by, I can't remember. Kirsten Kapur. That sounds wrong. But anyway, Michelle gifted me this. I really need to, I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway. I have no idea. I also went to the craft store this morning and bought fabric. My quilt store. Because clearly I have all this Christmas knitting to do, so I should obviously have some holiday gift bags to put my projects in, right? Right? Totally, right? So anyway, I am knitting this. This is for, I believe it's DK. It doesn't say. It just said that on the thing. But I think it's DK. Anyway, so I am using some of my hand-spun The Loop Bullseye Bump. This is also a gift for the holiday-ishness. This is what's left thus far. And here is the project thus far. To the right side. Yeah. So And I am knitting this on, I'm going to guess 8s. 5.5 millimeters. So yay! Maybe that's 9s. I don't know. It's something. So this will be a holiday gift for a family member. I am lengthening mine because I had way more yarn than was suggested, but I liked the texture of this, and I also liked, I mean, it was written for DK, which is about, this is like sporty DK-ish. So I wanted to make sure that the texture that I got was what I was anticipating. Do you know what I mean? So, yay, I'm very pleased with it thus far. I was very intimidated. I'll just flash you really quick. The pattern, I was very intimidated because it's not like one of those, do this pattern for 6 rows, then do this pattern for 6 rows, then do this pattern for 6 rows, then go do this one and this one. It's actually written out by row. So I looked at it and was like, "Brr," which is the sad sheep noise. But it really is not that complicated once you just look at it. I think what she has done is very clear, especially for newer knitters. It's just sometimes, I mean, old-timey folks look at it and they're like, what is all of this rows? But it's really not that complicated. So there's that. Then the last thing I have to show you, I hope, yes indeed, is my new sweater I'm working on. Remember last week I may have whispered that, some of you didn't hear that, sorry. I may have whispered that I bought another sweater's worth of yarn from Beaver Slide. I just did. Shush. So I apologize. I don't have the pattern to show you because our printer is out of ink and I'm not buying it right now because I just went to a wool festival that was 6 hours away. Round trip, by the way, not one way. Not that crazy. But I am. But anyway, so this pattern is the Walpole by Hannah Fettig, and it's one of the Wool People or something like that. It's one of the Jared Flood, you know, his yarn. It's one of their patterns. And it's, well, just go look it up if you're interested. But I'll show you next week. But anyway, so here's my yarn. I'll try to get you the skein. I did leave up the skeins on. It's, of course, Beaver Slide Dry Goods. They're so awesome with their bases. I'm not flipping you off. That's what you're worried about. This is a 4-ounce skein of 2-ply sport weight sock. It's 80% merino, 20% fine kid mohair, 458 yards. 458 yards, people! Value. And this is Swift Fox, which I love. Can you, I wonder why. Huh. So anyway, oh my gosh, I made so much progress, you're never going to believe it. I have like 5 rows done. So this is a cardigan. It's one of those long A-line drapey cardigans. I really love all those cardigans with the like wrappy panels in the front. But quite frankly, in my size, in a sport weight, I know that knitting that much and then in stockinette flat will make me gouge out my own eyeballs. And I don't mean, I mean, it might be knit all in one piece, and so you're not thinking, but you know what I mean, knitting and then purling back. Because, for example, this one for my size is 310 stitches for cast on, and I'm working at a looser gauge than suggested by the pattern, so that's really not even the biggest size. But anyway, 310 stitches for cast on, 310 stitches purls in a row. Yeah. So I picked this pattern because as I looked at it and thought, I think I can steek that thing, which, yeah, I can. And it was totally a prize from somebody whose name I can't remember right now. God, bad person. But I'll tell you next week when I show you the pattern. If I'm not too cheap to buy toner before then. But anyway, yay! It's very pretty. Okay, so what are we at? Oh my gosh, 34 minutes. Okay, so that's all of the stuff. I have this much spinning, but I'm not even going to mess with it. Because really, it's been pushed aside because I'm hyperventilating about all the Christmas gifts I have to knit. And so, my gosh, so many of you are so cute. I wrote out on Plurk that I was hyperventilating about my Christmas gifts. I know, I've said that like 5 times already, right? Great. Okay. But there's not like a synonym for hyperventilate. Freaking out. Whatever. You know what I mean? I'm too nervous to make stuff for you people. So anyway, so many of you, especially Lacey, thank you very much, put links to other things. Like, you don't have to knit for everybody. You could just do these other things. And they, so many cute ideas. Thank you so much. But I'm going to be knitting for everybody until I freak out next month. And then I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. But at this point, I'm knitting for everybody. Because I do have a yarn stash, but I don't really have a fabric stash. You know what I mean? Like, I would kind of like, I'm not the greatest seamstress. I can sew some stuff together. I'm not the greatest seamstress in the world. But it's good enough for people, you know what I mean, that aren't like expert seamstresses. So, oh, but I don't have like a fabric stash hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, I have a few things, but not enough to make everybody presents. Anyway, crazy cow. So that's what we'll talk about for a few minutes. We're doing a crazy cow with Stockinette Zombies. Shut up. Megan and Amy of Stockinette Zombies and I are doing a Bring Your Crazy Cow. I don't really know that's what it's called. I just made that up. I'm calling it that now. Because that's what it is. We're going to square off with our crazy people. We're square off. Got some crazy. I'll lean into you with my crazy. So I will be probably knitting 8 slippers as my crazy. And they might also look crazy because I'm knitting 8 pairs of them. But anyway, your crazy project can be anything you want it to be. It can be crazy colors. It could be something crazy new for you. It could just be crazy because you're knitting 9,000 Christmas tree ornaments to give out. It could be crazy. You just have to make a story why it's crazy. Because you drove 6 hours to buy the yarn for it. That's crazy. That's crazy. So anyway, yay. 1 entry per person on my game. I don't know what they're doing yet. Listen to them and you'll find out. But as part of the crazy cow, Megan from Stockinette Zombies totally threw down the crazy gauntlet. She was like, I bet you got a crazy story. And I was all like, I bet I do. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, I don't. So listen to them this week. They're going to tell you their crazy stories, but I can tell you my crazy story right now. Okay, this is my preface. I hate those things in the books. This is my preface. My preface is as I thought about it, I don't do anything crazy. Ever. I am the most 95-year-old man you would ever want to meet. Except about turning off lights. And then my husband takes over on that one. But anyway, secretly in my soul, I am a 95-year-old man. And I don't mean like that guy who made the juicer 95. I mean like, get off my lawn, 95. A little shaky. So I don't ever do anything crazy. So the first story I thought of was like, oh, I could tell that story. Actually, there's nothing crazy happening in that story except my face. It's in which I react crazily to a situation which other people might not have. That's not a crazy story, though. It's not about the craziest thing I ever did that wasn't knitting related. It's just me being crazy. So I had to like really think about it. I actually almost had to enlist the help of friends, but then I thought, they already know I'm crazy. I'm not going to ask them this. This is stupid. So here's my story I came up with that I remember. When I was in college, I think when I was a junior in college, I took a history of the sciences. Yes, maybe I was a sophomore. I think I was a sophomore, actually. I took a history of the sciences course in which we got to make a drop spindle in the machine shop at my college, which was awesome. And I got to use knitting as like a midterm project. Super awesome. But so anyway, for our final project, I don't remember what the parameters of the thing were. I don't have any idea. But it was decided by me and my partner in crime that we would do a pottery thing for our final doohickey. And we would do a pit firing. Okay? We were in college. We live in dormitories. We have no place to do this. So we ask around. We have a friend who is from Vermont, and she says, I think it was her cousin. It was not even like her grandma or something. It was like an uncle. I have an uncle who lives up near Brattleboro, which is not that far. It's Massachusetts. It's up into Vermont. New England is one state. Shh. So we're like, okay. I mean, we weren't like back then. We were like, okay. Now I'm like, what were we thinking? So she's like, well, he's got some land in Brattleboro and he's got a big, like back 40-ish kind of thing where it's, you could go out there and he would not mind if you dug a giant pit in his yard and set fire to it. Okay. So in order to like to do the pre-work for this thing, we made our pots and we made them like we didn't throw them or anything. We just, by the way, another crazy thing I did when I was in college was that I became obsessed with ceramics and decided that I was going to be the most awesome hippy dippy potter in the world. By the way, when I say hippy dippy, it is with love. I aspire to hippy dippiness. Okay. So I decided that I was going to be a potter because randomly my very small liberal arts college had its own pottery shed. It was not like, we did not have an art pottery class like as part of the arts curriculum. It was just like some hippy dippy donor, like one of our foremothers or whatever donated the land and the little tiny house that their pottery studio was in. How crazy is that? So anyway, I had no instructions. I did not know what I was doing at all. And I literally removed the entire side of my hand from pressing it on the wheel because we had those like pressed wood bats that you made the pottery on. And so I'm so uptight that I pressed so hard and did it for so long that I removed the skin from this entire. So that's why I'm crazy. That's another example thereof. Sorry. I keep smelling my hands too. Like, this is weird. But my husband just oiled the lock in our garage door, and I just came back from the grocery store and buying fabric. And so, like, my hands smell like machine oil. It's freaking me out. And by the way, I also put my keys in my mouth when I dropped them and then picked them up and was like, because I didn't know. Because why would he tell me that? It's not his fault. But anyway, so we made our pottery. But we just did the pinch pottery. But we made like 4 pots, I think. And then we were just gonna and then we collected the wood shavings from the machine shop that I talked about when we made our drop spindles. So we go armed with our wood shavings and shovels. I don't even know where we got the shovels from. I know we gave them back because I don't have a shovel randomly from Smith College. I promise, I don't have your shovel. But we must have borrowed them from the groundskeepers or something. I don't know. I was not in charge of that aspect, evidently. Because I don't remember. Anyway, so we take our shovels and our bag of wood chips and shavings, well, multiple bags, and our little delicate pots that have air dried, but we're now going to fire. And we did lots and lots of research. This was a legitimate thing. It was not just like, oh, I watched a YouTube video. There was not YouTube back then, people. No YouTube. I know, imagine a world in which there is no YouTube. We were Indiana Jonesing it up. So, no Google. Well, there might have been Google, but we didn't even know about it. So anyway, so we drive. Our friend, who was a saint, who is not even in this class, but obviously, who wouldn't drive us? We're crazy. This is going to be a show, people. So she drives us up to Brattleboro, Vermont in her car. And we get to this place, and there's nobody there. There's no sign that's like, yes, feel free to dig up my lawn. I do super verify it. You're in the right place. No Google Maps. You are in the right place. Eleanor is my niece or whatever. So the whole time we're out there, this is the back of our minds. We're in the wrong place and the police are going to come. That's happening back here the whole time this story's going on. So we're like, okay. So we drive our car like up into the field, well, her car, up into the field because we don't want to leave it in the driveway because we're afraid that looks even more suspicious. Anyway, so we're in the field and we then proceed. It is raining, by the way, not like crazy rain, but like drizzly rain that's all very foggy. It looks like we're in Maine. We're probably going to be murdered with our own shovels and then Angela Lansbury is going to show up. But that didn't happen, luckily. So we're digging this pit and it's got to be like 3 feet deep. Yes, it was 3 feet deep. So like we are standing. I mean, eventually we're down to standing in it. It's like a 3-foot cube. That's a lot of work if you've never dug a pit. That's a significant amount of work. But anyway, we're out there in the rain in like overalls and wife beaters because we're crazy like that. And we're digging and digging and digging and digging. So finally we get the pit all set up. I don't know what this guy thought when he got home. I'm sorry, guy. But we thought we were allowed to do it. And as far as I know, we were still allowed to do it. Anyway, so then we there's like water in the bottom of the pit, like as we get done with it, but we think it's just because of the rain, right? That's what you think, right? You might not be thinking that. You might be like you're an idiot. This is what's going to happen. But just shush. Don't ruin it for everybody else. So there's rain. There's water in the bottom pit. We just think it's rain. So we're like, okay. So we pour in our sawdust, like first layer. I don't remember how, whatever. You layer the sawdust in the pots and the sawdust in the pots, sawdust pots. or maybe we had to put wood on the bottom. I can't even remember. But anyway, we build our pit of fire, and then we proceed to try to start the fire in the rain. And we all circle around the fire as we're trying to start it and sing, "I am the fire starter," like Prodigy style. "I am the fire starter." And we're poking the fire with sticks. Ridiculous. It's raining, but we get the fire going. We're psyched because we're like 3 women in this field in Vermont, and we've dug a pit, and now there's a fire, and we're psyched. They probably totally thought like we were doing some weird ritual, but whatever. So then we have to hang around for, I don't even remember, like 4 hours or something crazy, like a very long amount of time for the fire to fire all the pots. So what do? Well, we sing fire starter a lot more. And then we proceed. There's a bunch of old hoopties in this field. If you don't know what hoopty is, I hope that's not an offensive term because I've just now said it. If it is offensive, I don't know that it's offensive. Please don't be angry at me. They're big old cars, and I used to drive one. My first car I ever drove was a 1987 Crown Vic. It's a boat, people. A boat on wheels. So they're like all those kinds of cars, like from the 70s and 80s, out in this field on blocks. So we decided that what we should clearly do is take pictures in all of them. I wish I had those pictures because it would be an awesome addition to this story. This podcast is so long. But I don't. They're cute though, I bet. So we have to take pictures of Salt and the hoopties in our wife beaters, tank tops, driving the hoopties. I promise there is no alcohol involved in this story at all. None. So anyway, we hang around, we do shenanigans of that sort for about 4 hours. I don't even know what else we could have done. I probably knitted because I was knitting a lot back then. A lot. Maybe when I should have been going to class. Shh. Anyway, so finally the 4 hours or whatever it is goes by and we're like, yay, we get to go dig our pots out. Remember how I said there was water in the bottom of the pit? That was foretelling, by the way. If you didn't pick up on that, that's a storytelling technique. We dig our pots up, and it's just the rims. Like initially when we start to excavate, we're like, oh, by the way, we're photographing everything because we have to document all this stuff. So we're digging them up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the pot broke. It's just the rim. I'm like, that'll be still cool. We'll have shards. It'll look like a real excavation, right? I'm like trying to cover my own behind. But I keep digging and there's nothing else except muddy, muddy wood. Because guess what, kids? We hit the water table. We dug deep enough. And here's another clue that I did not tell you in my foreshadowing section. There were lots of ducks. Just flying back and forth. Lots and lots of ducks. Which might have meant that if we had walked to the back of this guy's land, it was a marsh. And maybe that's why he didn't care if we dug a big hole in it. Oh. So we dig and dig and dig and dig. And we really, for our trouble, and it's nighttime by this time, by the way. This is a full day affair. For our trouble, we have 2 rims of pots. Oh. So anyway, that's my crazy story. We still passed. It was okay. We did have to do a lot of covering. That's okay. My friend was a women's studies major. She was used to that. Sorry, women's studies majors. She was very good at talking the talk, let's say. Anyway, so that's my story. It was not really that crazy. But again, I don't ever do anything crazy. I just react crazily to every normal thing that happens to me. And by the way, I didn't even say this. The Crazy Crowd will start November 1st and will run until the end of December. There'll be prizes. And I'll see you next week. Bye.